Hello everybody, good morning. Jesus once told a story wherein he warned us lest we adapt attitudes of superiority and we treat others with contempt. Now, we may not be aware of such attitudes. I think they're really quite subtle. But he went on to tell a story of a Pharisee and a tax collector who went to the temple one day to pray. And the Pharisee, filled with his own importance, went before the Lord and said, "Lord, I thank you that you have made me what I am, that I'm not like other people, that I'm not like adulterers and thieves and the other trash that walks around the community. And I thank you," with a sideway glance to the tax collector who was also about to pray, "I thank you that I'm not like this tax collector. I pay a tithe to the church, and I'm generally pretty proud of what I do." That's the one hand. And then the focus shifts to the tax collector. And remember, they weren't exactly the most popular people. Zacchaeus was a tax collector. But this is not Zacchaeus. This is an anonymous tax collector. And the tax collector goes before the Lord, and we are told he begins to smite his breast like this. And he simply says, "God, be merciful to me, a sinner." As simple as that. And Jesus said, when those two men went home, I tell you, that tax collector had more reason to think, although he probably didn't think, but he had more reason to think that his prayer had been heard by God. In short, what Jesus is saying is that in the simplicity and in the humility of that tax collector's prayer, recognizing his faults, recognizing he did not have a good life behind him, recognizing that he needed God and that all he needed was God's mercy, that prayer was heard, and God delighted more in that tax collector's prayer than the rather pompous, self-righteous prayers of the Pharisees. Is there a lesson in that for us? Let's recognize that we are who we are simply and only because of who God is. That there is nothing better about me than anybody else who may be walking the streets of Hermanus. That they are loved and are valued as much as I may be loved and valued. And because I may have an education behind me, gives me no right to think that I am superior to anybody. It is only by God's grace that we are who we are. The very first beatitude, the Sermon on the Mount, how blessed are those who know their need of God. And believe me, that tax collector knew his need of God far more than the Pharisee, who you would have thought understood his need of the Lord. So just know that God loves you and that you are his son, his daughter. No grounds for boasting there, believe it, but simply a heart that is thankful and a heart that is humble and a heart that loves God and serves him. God be with you.